Hi. I haven't seen any of the Lord of the Rings movies. I'm sorry. I just haven't gotten around to it. I would like to one day, but frankly, at this point, I'm just so intimidated by the scope of it all. There's books, there's all these movies, all the world building, the complex characters. It seems like a lot. But I thought that it would be kind of fun to go through who I imagine are the main characters from my Google search. I'm sure it's not all of them, but it's some. I thought that I'd take a look and see if I can guess what they're all about. We'll see what comes to me, okay? I don't know anything about Lord of the Rings. I know that there are hobbits. That's it. Now that we've established that, let's get cracking. We're going to start out with this dude, Frodo Baggins. What can we say about Frodo? His hair is unkempt, yet styled. He seems like a good guy. I'm thinking Frodo grew up without parents. Maybe he always thought that he would never amount to anything. Probably lived his whole life in a tree. Could be why it appears that he only wears earth tones, which I am not complaining about. I think Frodo is giving only child energy. I think his parents were probably killed by dragons. Not by dragons. By thieves. I think his parents were killed by thieves. Now, I don't know what's going on with his feet. Can someone, what is this? What's happening here? My boy Frodo here is definitely morally just, okay? But I do see this picture of him kind of looking like Reagan from The Exorcist. Maybe something possesses him and he gets turned into a bad guy for a little bit. Also, hobbits never age. It's canon, probably. Okay, we're on to the next. And we have Samwise. He looks very kind, perhaps a little dumb. Sorry, going off first impressions here. Maybe he's like the Patrick Star to Frodo's SpongeBob, you know? He looks very dirty in all of the pictures that I'm seeing of him. So I'm going to conclude that he's homeless. But I do think he has a family, maybe a little brother or something. I think at the end of the whole saga, they kill off Samwise. Ooh, maybe a sister he didn't know about who's the antagonist in the final movie. Maybe she ends up stabbing Samwise with a sword in the heart. And it's found out later that I don't know what I'm talking about. I think also somewhere in the story, Samwise finds out that he has magical powers and is able to heal people and ends up saving Frodo with his magic healing powers several times. There's probably a moment where they stop being besties for a while because of betrayal. Ooh, like Frodo sleeps with Samwise's baby mama. God, Frodo. Come on. But at the end of the day, they're thick as thieves. They end up okay. Next, we have Gandalf. I've always imagined Gandalf to just be the Lord of the Rings' version of Dumbledore. He's a wizard because Lord of the Rings has wizards. And he just has this crazy knowledge about everything. I bet he's like a super serious dude, but has like a dry sense of humor. Probably has some funny moments, I hope. Like moments where you're like, oh, yep, that's Gandalf. And then everyone laughs. And since he's old, I'm sure he dies eventually. Maybe in the middle, so that he's used as like a guiding light for Samwise and Frodo in their adventures against evil. I think he dies by fire. I think he gets burned alive in a very heroic way. That's all I have to say about Gandalf. Next, we have this guy, Pippin. Pippin Took. He kind of looks like Samwise, so maybe they're siblings. But wait, actually, he has the ears. I don't think Samwise is a hobbit. I bet hobbits are segregated or something. Like there's some discrimination going on against hobbits versus non-hobbits. But by the end, due to the heroic efforts of Frodo and Samwise and company, hobbits and elves, even the dragons, all come together in harmony. So anyways, this Pippin guy, he is a hobbit because he has the curly hair. I don't know. Maybe it's him and Frodo that are siblings. Oh, maybe he's like the comic relief. I bet he's like a silly, goofy guy, you know? Maybe he's a little clumsy, but he's also really brave and sacrifices himself to save Frodo. Next, we have Orlando Bloom's character, Legolas. Anyways, he looks very tough and has very beautiful hair. I bet he's like royalty or something. He's a lot cleaner than any of the other characters we've seen thus far. He's photographed with a bow and arrow. He's clearly a badass. He looks very uptight, but I bet he's secretly a softie. I'm sure this handsome man has a love interest of some sort, but she probably ends up dying. I think he lives the whole time. I think he's like a prince, maybe a Prince Zuko type of situation. I don't think he's been like banished or anything. I think he's probably pretty beloved by all, but leaves his cushiony life to fight bad guys. I think at first he's not on the side of Frodo and Samwise. Maybe they're enemies, but then they find a common enemy and end up buddies. Next, we have a lady, Galadriel. How do they come up with these names? She looks like a baddie. I bet her and Orlando Bloom's character are siblings. They both have the same beautiful hair. Or they're not siblings and are actually entangled romantically. She looks like a warrior person. She's a little hard to read. She has pointy ears. All signs are pointing to elf. I want her to live, but she probably dies. I'm not finding anyone yet that's giving antagonist energy. Oh, okay, maybe this next guy. Aragorn. Aragorn looks not very nice. His hair is not very clean. I bet he's like a thief, a bandit, if you will. He has this really cool sword, and I bet he stole this sword. It's not his sword, but the sword gives him magic powers. From the pictures that I'm seeing, he seems to care a lot about this sword. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not into the hair. He looks a little too serious. I bet he's a womanizer. Yeah, sorry, man. He is the enemy of Samwise. Ooh, I bet Aragorn and Samwise have the same love interest. I totally bet they're in a love triangle. Samwise is maybe too frumpy. Sorry, Samwise. Maybe he's like too frumpy, and Aragorn is like this masculine, sculptured man, and he's like a bad boy. So Sam's love interest is like really into him, but Samwise gets the girl. And I bet the love interest is this woman, Arwen. She's very pretty. but I don't have much else to say about her. Lastly, and I'm sure there's more important characters, but I'm gonna do one more. That's gonna be this guy, Gollum. Gollum is. I don't even know. I don't know. I don't know what he is. What is he? He's like a little troll. I bet he lives in like a sewer or, well, they probably don't have sewers in Lord of the Rings. Lives in something like a sewer. Somewhere really wet and slimy and dark. I bet Gollum didn't always look like this. I bet he was like really handsome and normal, but then he was cursed by Gandalf. Yeah, I bet Gandalf cursed him and turned him into this weird little creature guy. Maybe he just looks like a bad guy, but is actually super helpful. Maybe he's really sensitive. And I bet he has like a pet. Yeah. That's all I have to say about Gollum. This was honestly pretty challenging. It was much harder than I thought it was going to be to try and come up with what it is I think these people do. I really do plan on reading the books and watching the movies one day, but it's also kind of fun to be that person that like has never seen any of the movies because people get so upset. I'll get in there eventually. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I didn't insult your favorite character. That is all I have to say. Goodbye.